Hello everybody, welcome once again. This is an exclusive channel for the commerce student and you get all the information related to ISC and CBSE board for the students who are going to write their accounts examination in year 2020-24. So today's video is for class 12 student and the chapter which is going on is issue of share. Today we will understand a new concept in the same chapter which is known as calls in advance. So today's class is dedicated to the journal entries related to calls in advance. Let's get started. Let us understand theoretically first of all what is calls in advance. Calls in advance is that when a shareholder has paid some money in advance, means company has not yet invited but the shareholder has paid the money. This happens when let's understand it with example. For example, the share is of rupees 10 each and the shareholder had to pay 2 rupees on application. This is application. Rupees 5 on allotment and rupees 3 on first call, and this shareholder has paid the amount along with allotment. The first call money is paid along with allotment. So this is known as calls in advance. On calls in advance, interest is also paid by the company, but that entry we will not understand in today's class. Today's agenda to understand only the calls in advance entry. So when I pass the entry for allotment, I am not passing the entry for application, which you already know and which is not related to this concept. So first I will go pass the entry of allotment money getting due. So my allotment money getting due entry will be equity share, allotment account debit to equity share capital. Here there won't be any impact of calls in advance, but in the receiving entry, means when we pass entry bank account debit to equity share allotment, here I will have to add one more thing, the amount which I have received for the first call, which is being paid by the shareholder in advance. So here I will write calls in advance as well. Calls in advance amount will be written over here, and this amount and this amount together will be put under bank account. This is impact number 1 of calls in advance. Calls in advance is a temporary account which need to be closed later on. So when the allotment, the first call money gets due, the entry will be equity share first call account debit to equity share capital, and at the time of receiving it, we will close the calls in advance account which we had opened earlier. Calls in advance account is a liability account, that is why it was credited over here. Now this liability is getting settled, so the entry will be something like this. We will write bank account debit. We'll also write calls in advance account, and calls in advance account is going to be debited over here. Calls in advance account debit to equity share first call. Like this we are going to pass the entry for calls in advance. I hope students you have understood what is the concept of calls in advance, and in the coming classes we will understand the concept of calls in arrear also, and then we will solve a question also related to this. So this calls in advance and calls in arrears is an important concept, and not only for this chapter, for issue of debenture also the same entries are passed. Just in place of equity share capital you would be writing the debentures over there. So this important concept you have to learn very properly. That's all for today, and if you have not yet subscribed the channel, please do subscribe and like and share the video. We will meet once again. Till then, bye.